All right, lots to talk about in today's Financial Focus. Steve Buden's here. Apparently, the Greek Parliament has decided to play ball here.
Apparently.
Maybe.
Let's see what happens if it's implemented.
You're right.
You saw what happened this weekend.
What happened was that they voted the austerity measures out, or at least a lot of cuts. There's rioting in the streets of Athens, at least in one city. Is this going to work?
Who knows? I bring this up only because it's foreshadowing about what potentially could happen across Europe, and who knows, maybe even here. But you have a society that literally is dealing with a situation where they've outlived, overspent, lived beyond their means for a number of years, and now a lot of the folks lending them money are saying, that's it.
A lot of people say, you know, I think that, I'm not sure about this, but the population of Greece is something like the population of, let's say, Pennsylvania or something.
Yeah,
so why is it so important?
Well, it's just the canary in the coal mine. This is not an isolated incident, and as most crises, or if you read history, most wars always start with one little battle, and then it just escalates.
True.
So I think this is what makes it important, and you just don't know where all of the details are, so who owns the bonds and who is going to be, you know, left holding the bag when ultimately there's a default.
So just keep watching that.
Yeah.
Okay, the budget. The president announced his budget. This used to be where they bring in the budget and everybody say, well, we'll take a look at this. It's like this time it's a gauntlet thrown down. I mean, the Republicans are saying, no way.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I bring this up only because the president is doing the speaking tour this week, promoting his budget. Just because he proposes the budget does not mean it becomes law. So just because you hear something doesn't mean that that's going to happen. As you said, the politics, it took, what, 5 minutes maybe for this all to start? So the interesting thing, though, and we were doing some calculations here, it was a $4 trillion budget. $11 billion a day this government spends.
$11 billion
a day.
And he's proposing a little bit more.
From what I'm hearing, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see what
happens. 11 billion a day. So whenever somebody comes out and says they can't cut spending, or they can't, you know, there's just so much there that they can work with. They're just choosing not to.
Okay, something that really could affect a lot of people here. There's changes in the 1099-B. Explain that.
Anybody with an investment account should take notice, and your 1099 should start coming out this week. And those are statements that your investment companies have to give you each year that shows how much money you've made or lost, whether it's interest or dividends. In addition, when you buy or sell stocks. Well, up until this year, it worked on the honor system where you said you bought a stock of, you know, Smith Incorporated, you paid something, you sold it for something, but now the IRS is requiring the investment firms to capture those numbers. And they're phasing this in over a couple of years, but there's a lot of confusion and a lot of misconceptions about how these are being delivered. So you may get a 1099 in the mail from your investment company. Don't file your taxes because you might get an amendment over time. So I could see this happening where somebody gets their 1099, they rush to their accountant, and then a month later they get an amended 1099. So just be careful.
Because the first one is due on the 15th, and then they could amend it. Real quickly, we need to talk about gas prices.
Yeah, and I was listening to some reports over the weekend. Again, I just throw this out there. There's some speculation that summer gas prices could really spike up given all of the uncertainty in the Middle East and all of the uncertainty in Europe, and it just hasn't hit the pumps yet. Oil prices per barrel are going up, and that just takes a little bit of time for gasoline to reflect that. So we'll follow it, but just if you're planning for the summer, just be prepared.
Lots to digest. Thank you, sir.